Hello friends, safety on paper and crime in the basements. Let's talk about the paradoxes of Polish reality. Please friends, write in the comments if you're watching from Poland. Do you feel safe or not really? Now let's discuss two news stories that caught my attention, which are also related to Ukrainians. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you don't miss new videos. Now let's get down to business. We have before us a remarkable and frankly telling set of information where dry international statistics come into fierce conflict with real-life criminal practice on the ground. We're constantly being told about civilization, order, and the European choice, but as soon as we start looking at the actual facts, the harsh reality of life comes to light. Let's analyze two news stories systematically to understand how the numbers in prestigious rankings coexist with real dangers for ordinary people. That's why I'm asking you to write in the comments about how you feel, because TikTok shows things differently. Well, I guess we'll start with the news about Ukrainians. An international crime ring in Wroclaw. Digital banditry? Yes, if that were a headline on YouTube. Let's start with a story that will make your hair stand on end. They show it clearly. While some experts talk about lofty matters of the rule of law, other citizens are actively mastering new methods of expropriating other people's property. This all happened just the other day at the end of May 2026 in Wroclaw, Poland, and there's a drama there worthy of a suspenseful detective story. The victims were two young guys, 20-year-old citizens of Ukraine. The perpetrators approached the matter with pure pragmatism and knowledge of social engineering. They didn't conduct a routine raid, but deceived the young men by offering a household service. This is common in the migrant community. Someone helps with documents, someone looks for housing or offers a good currency exchange, and the guys fell for this bait of trust. One was lured into the courtyard of a house on Bartska Street, the other in a parking lot on Szweradowska Street. Then they were forcibly seized. The guys were shoved into cars and taken to a basement, and it was the basement of a restaurant located in the very heart of tourist Wroclaw, an old place. In that basement, the young Ukrainians were held and subjected to physical violence. They weren't doing it for no reason. They were extorting money from them. Here is the most notable objective. The old-school bandits wanted gold watches, leather jackets, and boots, but today's extortionists demand something completely different. They forced the guys to give up passwords to mobile banking apps on their smartphones and made them call their friends to borrow money. Well, I think these young Ukrainians weren't just ordinary young Ukrainians, because at 20 years old, where would you get money from, for God's sake? If you have 200 zlotys in your account, that's it. You're basically a millionaire. Right, but let's get back on topic. Crime has shifted to the digital world. Why rob a bank when you can drain someone's accounts with their phone? Polish law enforcement, big thumbs up, acted quickly and decisively. A gang of 4 people aged 25 to 30 was taken down. They're all locked up in custody. And here's an interesting fact. The composition of the group. We're looking at a true international criminal team. Citizens. Citizens of Kazakhstan, Tunisia, and sunny Ukraine. This is a clear example of how marginalized elements from completely different cultural worlds find common ground and organize into transnational gangs. Much faster than law-abiding citizens decide whether we'll be friends or not, just among themselves. Now, this international gang faces up to 25 years in prison. It's an interesting story, of course. Really, it's just like a detective novel. Yeah, on the level of Taken, with Liam Neeson. Next, friends, we move on to the on-paper picture and macro statistics. There is such a thing, how to put it correctly, a ranking by the Global Peace Index, and Poland is in it. So this is already the second part of our video, and let's see how this wild incident fits with the big numbers in global analytics. Because literally at the same time, when I was reading that first news story, a second one popped up for me, that reputable institutes of economics and peace are publishing their annual Global Peace Index, which I already mentioned, the Global Peace Index. And here Poland is showing simply an astounding record-breaking success. The country jumps up 23 positions at once and takes 22nd place in the world in terms of safety and stability. We are officially told that this is the fastest progress among the 163 countries that participated in the ranking. On paper, Poland has surpassed dozens of developed countries. It has secured its position in the top league of safe geopolitical zones. In first place, as usual, is sunny Iceland. But the United States, due to internal turmoil, has simply dropped to 134th place. How is it possible that in the same legal reality, we have a triumphant 22nd place for safety and a gang that keeps people locked in a restaurant basement in the center of a major city? You might ask that, right? And I'll tell you, my friends, there's no real global contradiction here if you understand how statistics work. Because the Peace Index evaluates the macro indicators of a state. First and foremost, it's the absence of open military conflicts within the country. Next is the level of militarization and military spending. The overall political stability of the regime, the absence of mass riots in the streets, and in fact in these areas Poland is really doing well. Factories are operating, trains run on schedule, the police are fully staffed and have complete control over the streets, although I will tell you, we've already talked about this. Border guards from Olsztyn, Missouri, earn 6,100 zlotys, that's what they pay. So if anyone wants to, go join the border guards, friends. Yes, well, militarization. I can't argue with that because Poland really is arming itself. With a neighbor like that, what else can you do? In short, the state fiercely protects its monopoly on order. But this global radar completely misses the microprocesses that are bubbling inside these huge migration flows, right? Look, what's the conclusion? What warning can we give to Ukrainians? The conclusion is simple and pragmatic. Poland's high macro safety rating is a great foundation that guarantees, yes, the police will respond to a call and, God willing, will arrest the criminals. That's exactly what happened in Wroclaw. The system works. But this positive statistic shouldn't lull you into complacency, dear Ukrainians. Mass migration has led to millions of people coming to major Polish cities, right? And among them, of course, there are inevitably some who are up to no good. Some people aren't quite right, or are simply part of the criminal element, and as practice shows, this element most often preys on their own compatriots. They take advantage of their vulnerability, lack of language skills, reluctance to go to official authorities, and so on. That's why the main rules for surviving in this new reality remain the same and pretty basic for a 39-year-old guy like me. Strict financial hygiene. Don't show your card balance to people you barely know. Avoid shady deals. Don't meet somewhere in parking lots just to quickly settle something or resolve some issues. That's it. Meet in a cafe or at a mall and everything is fine. Understanding the risks, because your smartphone with a banking app is now one of the main objects of desire for today's criminals. In case of the slightest threat, you shouldn't try to negotiate. Bro, come on, we won't be able to work this out between us. You need to immediately involve the state system, the police, by calling 112. That's how it is. That's how it is. That's the reality. That's why I'm asking. Yes, friends, because lately, either there's just so much more information now. I don't know. There are so many different kinds of cases. Some people on TikTok say it's time to move to Poland, while others are happy to finally arrive in this wonderful country. I'll repeat, Poland is a wonderful, amazing country. Right? And I wanted to say something I forgot. Okay, friends. No, wait, I didn't forget. Let me remind you. The best money transfer service is Transfer. The link is in the description. Send money to your family and loved ones if you support someone. Yes, register and send 100 zlotys, 200, 300, 500. Yes, after payday, you can even send 500. So friends, thank you very much. Take care of yourselves and your loved ones. That's all for now. Write your city too. Denis watched from Brussels and Barcelona. Where are you watching from? That's it for now. Turning off the camera.